Good morning. It is Friday, April 4th. Here's what we're working on. Brantford police have one man in custody and they're looking for another after a stabbing death.
Canada is hitting back against U.S. auto tariffs.
And Bruce Springsteen is opening his vault, revealing some lost albums.
And I was working.
Good morning, and we say a very good morning to Kelly Botello, who's joining us today.
Good morning, everyone. It feels like spring
Kelly.
Outside, which is so lovely.
Yes, which is so unlike the last couple of days.
I know, right?
We've kicked away the rain for a day.
And the fog.
Yeah, and the fog. It's nice to be able to see this morning. And what we should do right now is just pause for a second and bask in the glow of it being Friday.
Yes.
Okay, now that we've done that, let's talk about, and it's going to be a nice Friday, actually. We're going to have the sunshine for the day today. Temperature, well, Hamilton will be seasonal at 9, but other areas could hit 12 and 13 degrees for the day today. So a really nice Friday. However, it does change again by the time we get to tonight. The rain settles in tonight, rain again for the day tomorrow. We could get possibly 10 to 20 millimeters of precipitation over tonight into tomorrow. So, yeah, rain could be heavy at times. It'll taper off to just scattered showers by the time we get to Sunday, so a fairly gray weekend coming up. So another reason why to enjoy Friday and the sunshine today. We're sitting at 4 degrees right now. We'll talk about it coming up, looking at traffic. Friday's volume's usually lighter, and that's the way it is here at the 403 and Waterdown Road, so not a lot to see right there. How about a few MTO traffic cameras? We'll start at Nikola Tesla Boulevard, so Toronto-bound lanes on this camera heading away from us. We'll flip ahead to the other side of the Skyway. This is just south of 2, or basically North Shore Boulevard. And here's a look at third line coming towards us, Toronto-bound. So not a lot happening so far today. We'll look at weather and traffic in detail coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Okay, thanks very much, Brian. Well, Brantford police are searching for a man wanted for second-degree murder after a stabbing death. Simone Gavros joins us now from Charlotte Street near Brantford's downtown. Good morning, Simone.
Good morning, Annette. Well, police say this happened yesterday afternoon around 4:15 here on Charlotte Street in Brantford. This is just down the street from Brantford's train station. Now, police have these two houses roped off with police tape, but they are parked in front of this one white house where the door is open and there's a light on up in one of the bedrooms over to the right. Now, details right now are limited. I did reach out to police for more information, and they say this is an active investigation, and they are currently looking for a man named Bradley George Saunders, and he's considered armed and dangerous. Now, here's some details and a photo that police shared last night. Saunders is described as a 27-year-old Indigenous man. He's 6'2", about 155 pounds, with long, dark hair. No clothing or vehicle description is available right now. Police say do not approach if you see him, just call 911. Police have already have one man in custody and have recovered a weapon after police found a man who had been stabbed and then later died of his injuries. Now, the public can upload any video evidence that they might have up on the police's website. They have a portal open for that, but they're asking anyone with information to contact police or Crime Stoppers. For now, Kelly, back over to you.
Thanks, Simone. Prime Minister Mark Carney says new counter tariffs from Canada are set to hit vehicles that do not comply with the Canada-US-Mexico agreement. Carney says it's in retaliation against U.S. President Donald Trump's 25% auto tariffs that penalize imports into America.
We must respond with both purpose and force. We are a free, sovereign, and ambitious country. We are masters in our own home. We will fight to bring each of these tariffs to an end. We're fighting in courts, challenging that these tariffs have been illegally imposed under U.S. law. We have filed disputes underscoring that they are in violation of our free trade agreement, CUSMA. We have gone to the World Trade Organization because these actions are against international trade law.
Carney says the retaliatory measure could generate $8 billion, which would be used to support companies and workers hurt by American auto tariffs. Carney also spoke virtually with the country's premiers yesterday and said the era of deepening economic ties with the U.S. is over.
The Conservatives and New Democrats pitched their own ideas on how their governments would respond to U.S. auto tariffs.
A new Conservative government will eliminate the federal sales tax on Canadian-made automobiles. Everyone who's looking to buy Canadian, to support Canadian workers, will be able to save money as a result of this announcement. Axing the GST on a $50,000 Canadian-made automobile will save $2,500 to the car buyer.
We are announcing New Democrats will bring in a victory bond, like we did in the World War. This is an opportunity for Canadians to invest in our country. In fact, during the World War, victory bonds raised more revenue than taxes because Canadians were so committed to doing their part. We are in a war. We're in a trade war. It's a war that was unprovoked, unjustified, frankly illegal, one that we did not want, but we're in one.
And as the second week of the campaign wraps up, Liberal leader Mark Carney is set to make an announcement in Montreal this morning before touring an auto plant in Woodbridge and then a rally in Toronto tonight. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre will hold a news conference in Quebec this morning. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is campaigning in Montreal all day. Green Party leader Elizabeth May is in Comox, BC, while co-leader Jonathan Pedneau continues campaigning in his Montreal riding.
New Léger poll results this week suggest that as the second week of the campaign began, the Liberals continued to lead in voting intentions with the support of 44% of those surveyed, compared to 38% for the Conservatives. Data was collected for the online poll from March 26th to the 31st. About two-thirds of Canadians polled said their vote choice was final, while around one-third remained open to changing their minds. One-third of Liberal supporters and more than half of NDP voters said they might switch their vote.
Another federal candidate has been dropped from the election race. The Liberal Party says Rod Loyola, who was running in an Edmonton riding, is no longer their candidate. He actually used to be a member of Alberta's provincial parliament for the NDP. Loyola had just launched his campaign for the Liberals last weekend. The National Post says he was removed after they asked about a candidate who praised Hamas and Hezbollah in a video from 2009.
Hamilton's Donut Monster has found a new owner and will stay open. The shop's co-owners took to Instagram yesterday to announce that the Lock Street South shop will no longer be closing on April 20th. The post reads in part, "The new owners are a partnership between the operators of a beloved community-focused small cafe brand from Nova Scotia and Hamilton-based individuals with a wealth of experience in the coffee and cafe industry." No further details have been shared about the new owners. This comes weeks after the co-owners announced the shop would be closing its doors after a 10-year run.
To Sportsline, in the OHL East quarterfinals, the Brantford Bulldogs lost Game 4 against North Bay.
Andrew LeBlanc parked at the side of the net as his procession. Jacob LeBlanc fires. He scores!
So the Battalions stay alive in this series with a 6-3 win over Brantford. Their goalie, Mike McIver, stopped 44 of 47 shots. For the Bulldogs, Nick Lardis, Calvin Crombie, and Luca Di Pelocido each scored once.
Rebound! Oh, what a save by Bertucci out of midair. He cleared it off the line. Here comes Wakely, breakaway. No, couldn't even shoot it. It's Van Steedsel. He's going to come in, and he can't shoot it, and Kevin He is picking up a penalty. No, it's a goal.
The Barrie Colts took a 3-1 series lead in their series with Niagara with a 6-3 win last night over the Ice Dogs. Seattle Kraken prospect Andre Loshko gave the Ice Dogs an early lead in this Game 4, but it wasn't enough.
Over to the NHL, the Toronto Maple Leafs were off yesterday as they get set to host the Columbus Blue Jackets tomorrow night. So let's head to Montreal, where the Canadiens took on the Boston Bruins. Nick Suzuki and Brendan Gallagher each had a goal and an assist, while goalie Sam Montembeault had made 18 saves as Montreal beat Boston for their third straight victory. The Canadiens hold the second wild card spot in the Eastern Conference, 2 points ahead of the New York Rangers. Last in the Eastern Conference, the Bruins have lost 7 in a row.
Here's Bjorkstrand now. Steps in, trying to make a move, and That one is defended well by Clevin. Free-flowing game here. Now it's Gregg. Steps back into the Lightning line. In for Pinto. Scores!
Linus Ullmark delivered an outstanding performance with 31 saves, while Shane Pinto and Jake Sanderson scored to help the Senators beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1. Even with the loss, the Lightning wrapped up a playoff spot after the game when Colorado beat Columbus. They have now won 4 in a row. The Senators will now host the Florida Panthers tomorrow.
Backup goalie Eric Comrie made 26 saves for his second shutout in 2 months as the Winnipeg Jets beat the Las Vegas Golden Knights 4-2. In San Jose, Jeff Skinner had the tie-breaking goal late in the second period to help Edmonton beat the Sharks 3-2.
All right, let's get you into traffic here this morning as I'm adjusting my monitors around me here. It's 11 minutes after 6 o'clock. Yay, and it's Friday. All right, let's get you into traffic first of all. Nothing really going on as far as volume is concerned. Collisions, no. Looks good here. 403 on Waterdown Road. Not a lot happening here. To our MTO traffic cameras. Pull in my controller here. We do have a very light volume at the QEW at Martindale, as you can see there. Nothing still at Nikola Tesla Boulevard to east of Brant Street. Everything's moving nicely so far this morning, so not a lot to talk about in traffic, which is good. Take it carefully, please. Let's get to the temperature that we have at the moment. Temperature has just fallen by a couple of degrees. We were 4. We're now sitting at 2. Winds are light from the north-northwest. Humidity is comfortable at 77%. It is now partly cloudy. It was mostly cloudy. So for school today, we are going to see sun today. We'll see a little bit of cloud cover starting to roll in for later in the afternoon, but generally for most of the day, it's going to be a sunny day. It'll be a mild day. Temperature 9 degrees. That's for Hamilton. Other areas will get a little bit better. So we have that incoming ridge of high pressure giving us the clearing trend, but tonight we'll see clouds, we'll see rain settling in as that next low pressure system brings us more rain, and that rain will start tonight. Some areas could even get some thunderstorm activity tonight, and then tomorrow as well we'll get more rain, and by Sunday it's going to taper off to some scattered showers. So not a lot of sun for the weekend, but today lovely sun. 9 for the Niagara area, Hamilton, 12 and 13 for the rest of the Horseshoe, so a pretty nice day with light winds. Tonight, 5 to 10 millimeters of precipitation, temperatures 4, 5, 6, 7 degrees for Simcoe, Cayuga, and they could get some thunderstorms. And then tomorrow, temperatures spike up as the warm front goes through. 11 for Niagara, 13 and 14 degrees for the rest of the Horseshoe, but cloudy skies with rain, and we could get another 5 to 10 millimeters during the day tomorrow. So wet tonight, wet during the day tomorrow. But out the door this morning, skies are partly cloudy right now. Temperature is on the mild side to start a morning here. We're sitting at +2, and we'll look long range coming up. Annette Kelly.
Okay, right after the break, we are going to check in with Emily Vukovic with a preview of what she has in Chit Chat. And in business news, the latest job numbers from both the U.S. and Canada come out today, another indicator of how businesses are reacting to the trade war. 6:15 right now, and we say good morning to Emily Vukovic for what's to come in Chit Chat.
Hi, good morning. Bruce Springsteen will open up his vault in late June and debut some previously unreleased songs, and it's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll let you know how many, because I know there are a lot of Boss fans out there. We're taking a look at the trailer for the new Superman movie, and it involves a pup. Any movie that involves dogs is good. Right? And Val Kilmer's Top Gun co-star Tom Cruise pays tribute to the actor's death.
Okay, thanks very much. We'll look for that. And well, in business news, the Canadian dollar is down 27 basis points, still trading just under 71 cents U.S. after a huge gain yesterday. Gold is $10.30 an ounce lower. Crude is down $2.51 to $64.44 a barrel. Midday trading in Europe, markets are down triple digits in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were down nearly another 1,000 points in Tokyo this morning. Hong Kong and Shanghai markets were closed for a holiday. And in North American markets, huge losses, over triple-digit losses across the board. The TSX dropped 971 points. The Dow tumbled more than 1,600 points. The Nasdaq lost more than 1,000 points.
Here's where some of that damage came from. Stocks in the so-called Magnificent Seven, the most influential companies on U.S. markets, saw a combined loss of over $1 trillion yesterday alone. It shows the damage that Donald Trump's trade war is causing on Wall Street. Chip-making NVIDIA dropped 7.8%. Apple lost more than 9%. Google's Alphabet closed 4% lower. Microsoft took a 2.4% hit. Both Meta and Amazon lost 9%. And Elon Musk's Tesla lost another 5.5% in value. As we mentioned earlier, global markets are also being hit hard this morning, and U.S. stock futures point to another day of big losses.
Some Canadian apparel companies also saw their stocks prices go down in the aftermath of Trump's latest tariff announcement. Aritzia was the biggest loser on the TSX as its shares fell more than 20%, while Gildan shares fell by almost 10%. Meantime, Lululemon's shares dropped almost 12% on the Nasdaq. Economists have been sounding the alarm over Trump's tariff policies, saying they are likely to lead to a recession and weigh on consumer spending.
Job numbers for March in Canada and the United States are going to be out later this morning. Now, in this country, economists polled by Reuters forecast a gain of 10,000 jobs, with the unemployment rate expected to rise very slightly to 6.7%. However, RBC economists predict a loss of 10,000 jobs. Meantime, economists in the U.S. expect 140,000 jobs were added last month. The March jobs numbers will offer a glimpse into how early tariffs implemented by Donald Trump were impacting the economy.
For the first time in over a decade, Virgin Atlantic is flying between Toronto and London. On board one of the first flights yesterday was Virgin Group founder Richard Branson. He exited the plane surrounded by his team, along with Canadian and British flags. Travelers can now connect to 13 Canadian destinations, including Calgary, Vancouver, and Ottawa. Loyalty partnership program benefits across both Virgin Atlantic Flying Club and WestJet Rewards are also expected to roll out later in the year.
Well, Canadians are going to need a visa to fly into Brazil starting April 10th. That's next Thursday. It ends the current visa-free access for stays up to 90 days. Business and student travelers can still get in without a visa for short stays. The new rule also applies to visitors from the U.S. and Australia. Those with valid Brazilian visas in their passports don't need to reapply. Regular Canadian passports have to be valid for at least 6 months beyond departure from Brazil.
Staff and students at Western University in London were rallying yesterday to denounce what they call the school's planned budget cuts to faculties across campus. The union representing workers says the campus community is calling for the school to reconsider what is being called a short-sighted approach to the budget. The Public Service Alliance of Canada says the cuts come as Western projects a 0.7% budget deficit for 2025-2026, despite having run increasingly large budget surpluses for the past 15 years. Local 610 members are teaching assistant and postdoctoral associates at Western University.
Well, Donald Trump says he would consider lowering tariffs if countries offered him something, quote, phenomenal, like China could with a deal with TikTok.
We have a situation with TikTok where China will probably say, we'll approve a deal, but will you do something on the tariff? The tariffs give us great power to negotiate.
Now, the app owned by China's ByteDance faces a deadline to sell to a non-Chinese buyer for its U.S. division or be banned in the States by tomorrow. Trump suggested China could get a break on tariffs if it approves this sale. Amazon has reportedly put in a bid, joining a growing list of potential buyers.
All right, taking a break now. Brian will be back with your traffic and forecast next.
Good morning, 6:24 on this Friday morning, 4th of April. Here's a look at traffic first of all. You're starting to see some light in the sky there. Here's the QEW at Glendale. No volume, no traffic problems there at all. South of 2 on the other side of the Skyway at North Shore, still doing fine. Third line looks good. Lauren Park, no problems. Same with 403 at Dundas Street. It's all pretty light this morning. Check the temperatures that we have. Temperature in Hamilton has just fallen. We were 4 last hour, so we've come down to 2 degrees. 3 for Grimsby and Mississauga, 4 into Toronto at the moment. So what we're looking at for seasonal temperatures now, 9 degrees. And that's where we're going today. 9 degrees will be the high in Hamilton, -1 for the overnight low. Those are our sun times and records for today. Enjoy the sunshine today because after that, well, anyway, by the first bell this morning, it should be 4 degrees and lovely sunshine. Clouds going to start to roll in later this afternoon, and we should hit 9 degrees for the high today. So that's Hamilton's high at 9, sunshine. 5 overnight tonight, so it stays on the mild side, but the rain starts overnight. We could get 5 to 10 millimeters overnight and another 5 to 10 millimeters tomorrow. At least it will be mild. We'll hit 14 degrees. We have that at 7 on Sunday. Still chance of showers. Showers linger on Monday. Look at the temperatures get cooler. 3 and 2 for Monday and Tuesday. And we come up again. Sunshine for Wednesday, Thursday, and milder temperatures. It's your forecast. Annette, Kelly.
Okay, thanks very much. This is so cute. A zoo in Spain is celebrating the healthy birth of a rare baby animal.
It's a Malayan tapir cub. The birth is significant because the species is endangered. Only 25 have been born in the zoo in the last decade, and this is the first in Spain. There are only about 2,500 Malayan tapirs left in the world. The zoo says the mother and cub will continue to stay quarantined indoors, but they are doing well.
It's interesting how the markings on the baby, like I wonder if it's like deer where they're, the little fawns have the spots on them and then it disappears.
Or maybe it comes from the baby daddy.
Maybe. So cute though.
And an interesting shaped face, but really cute. I've never seen anything like that before.
I haven't either. Very cute. Okay, stay with us. We've got lots more to come right after the break.